Bree, the diva, 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 Bree, the diva. Stay tuned.
So let me tell you how $14 an hour changed my life. So pretty much we moved to Virginia. Well, we moved back to Virginia um, maybe about 4 or 5, 6 years ago. And during that time, I was a stay-at-home mom. Um, I was at home for 2 years with my son. I suffered from postpartum anxiety really bad after giving birth to my son. And, I went to school for social work. So I worked 4 years. Well, I did 4 years of school for social work. And just my experience with um, anxiety, the medication, um, I kind of didn't want to get back into the social work field because I seen how we was pushing the narrative for medication is kind of like the only way for healing. And I'm not saying like if you need to take your medication, take your medication. But I just seen how the field was pushing that narrative. And it's like it was just something that I didn't want to be a part of anymore. And plus just hearing the things that people was going through was really triggering for me at the time. So I kind of said I didn't want to do social work anymore, right? So, I'm applying for jobs, and I so happened come across a sterile processing job. Now, I had never heard what it was. My sister actually has a friend that does sterile processing. So when I told her that I had an interview for the position, she was like, oh, yeah, my friend does that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. I said, well, I'm really just trying to get my foot into the door and possibly, go to something else. Now, this was an entry level job, you guys. And I went for the interview. I got hired, but they was only offering me $14 an hour. $14 an hour. At that time, if you know, that was during COVID. If you have kids, the child care was expensive. I believe the child care was maybe like 165. Honestly, it probably was like 180, probably more than that because at the time my son was 2 years old. So I literally was going there, making a paycheck, and half of it going to childcare because my husband was paying the rent. He was covering everything else. But, I said if I was to get a job, I was the one that was going to be covering for childcare because that was my contribution of, watching my son, being home with my son or whatever. So, y'all, just thinking like $14 an hour, I'm like, man, I got a degree. I got a social work degree. I'm not about to be doing no $14 an hour. Now, if that was my mind, I thought about that. But if that was really truly my mindset of not accepting the job, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be where I am today, y'all. So that $14, I, within like a year, just me showing my hard work, doing hard work, my dedication, showing the company like what type of worker I was, how dedicated, how reliable, how dependable I was. When it came time for raises, they looked out. Y'all, I went from 14, and I don't want to get on here and really discuss my pay, but I went from 14 to, we'll say, close to 26 within 3 years. And most of that was within my first year. So just think if I wouldn't have, and I know y'all probably saying, oh, that's not a lot. That's not a lot. For somebody who started off at $14 and within 3 years you got that much, normally you only get 50 cents, 30 cents every quarter. These companies are not giving out a lot of money, okay? So that $14 really just manifested itself. Like, well, not manifested, but expanded itself because of my hard work and my dedication, you guys. Not only did I know that sterile processing was a much needed field, I didn't know the opportunities that it could take you, okay? So, for one, you could be a traveling sterile processing tech. Two, you can go to bigger companies and they pay way more with great benefits. And it was just like, y'all, this $14 job that I started really changed my life for the better. It really changed my life because at one point I didn't even think I could go back to work. Like, just of what I was dealing with mentally, I didn't know if I could, go back to work. You know how you be out of work for so long? You really just don't know if, like, do I have it to go back, you know? And I was just longing to go back to work, to be with coworkers, just to get that break. Because, like, I love my child. I love him to death. But being around your child 24/7 with no breaks, sometimes it can get overwhelming, you guys. We need time for ourselves. But I'm getting off the subject. But if I would have let that price tag, and I'm all for knowing your worth, okay? I'm all for knowing your worth, but for me, I had just started. Just started. I feel like some people kind of expect so much when you just now getting your feet in the door. Now, if you're experienced tech or whatever, go for it, shoot for it. But just to get your feet in the door, I felt like I took a big risk by doing it. And look where it have got me now. Y'all, this job literally changed my life because I feel like I'm making more. Then after I did 3 years with this company, I went to the VA hospital, okay? And the VA hospital is offering childcare. They're offering, you can go back to school and they pay you like your every 2 week salary. Y'all, the benefits are amazing. You get sick, you get annual leave. And y'all, I'm making, I don't want to say it, but 30 plus, y'all. And this is coming from $14. I started within 4 years. And I honestly, y'all, I would say this, I'm probably making more than what I would be making at a social work job. And now I understand the concept of when people go to school for 4 years, they go to college, they thinking that they want to go for something, right? And I'm not against college either because it's a great experience. But you go thinking that this is where you're going to be forever. Sometimes, and y'all, I'm religious, so sometimes that's not the path that God wants you on, okay? Sometimes that's not the path that God wants you on. I feel like me working at sterile processing, I have touched a lot of people. I have touched a lot of people, and I'm not even doing counseling. I still keep in contact with all the people, most of all the people that I used to work with. So it's like I'm still helping people, but I'm on the back end. And it's just like that $14 an hour job changed my life for the better. It really changed my life. Like, I was just getting so burnt out in social work, doing the notes, constantly notes, going, interacting with people, and you have nasty clients. Y'all, and I'm not saying like social work is a bad job. I'm not saying that. But I found the job where I don't have to do a lot of patient interaction. Well, no interaction at all. You're on the background. You're on the back scenes of it. You don't have to check in a client, or you at a register have to check them out. You don't have to do that. So, y'all, that's what I just came on here to say. Like, it really changed my life. When you taking these opportunities, it's not always about the money. And if it was about the money, I wouldn't have took this leap. It's not always about the money, you guys. Which I know the money is very important, but sometimes if we just follow on the path and we show that we are a good worker, we show our work ethic, some things might turn around for you. You know, we gotta start somewhere. And honestly, $14 in this economy, yeah, I probably, you know, probably would have been thinking the same thing. But I took it. I took that leap of faith. And that's why I just want to encourage you guys, like, take that leap of faith. Because it honestly, it really did change my life. And I'm so grateful for where I am now. Because just thinking about where would I be right now? Like, would I be doing intensive in-home like I did before? And if you know intensive in-home, it's stressful. Especially when I used to work with kids and I also did CPS. And y'all, those things can weigh so heavy on you and you take those things home with you. What I like about this job, when I go home, I'm done. Unless you're on call, you're done. You don't have to do no notes. You honestly don't even have to answer your phone call if somebody call you. You're done. So, and I was just thinking, like, I don't know where I would be, honestly. I don't know. Because it's really hard out here and a lot of places are not paying for your worth. But if you get in there and you show them that you are a hard worker, when it come time for giving you a bonus, they can't give you the lowest. Cause you're gonna say, I did this, I did that. This is your time to where you need to tell them, I've been busting my tail. So like, yeah, you guys, now I'm gonna give y'all an update. Now I work for the government. I work at the VA hospital. And I'm doing the same thing that I was doing when I was making $14 an hour. I'm doing the same exact thing. I'm receiving great benefits, great pay, you guys. And it's just amazing within 4 years of what $14 an hour took me. It took me farther because I wanted more for myself. So like if you're thinking about applying for those jobs and you like, like a trade job and you like, I don't know if I should take it. Try it out. Look for other ways to improve yourself. You know what I did? I went for different certifications. So right now I got approved. I took the test to be a technician for the VA and I passed the test. Just look for ways to make yourself more marketable. Because also I got a $2 raise at my past job because I went to go sit for the certification. Now they had people that was doing sterile processing, but they wasn't certified. If you got certified, you got more money. So guess what I was doing, you guys? I was chasing the money. So I went and I got certified. So I am CRCST certified, CRMST certified, and now I'm going for my CHL, my CER, my CIS. I'm going for all those certifications because guess what? That's going to make me more marketable. And at the end of the year, that's going to help me get the raise that I want. Okay? So, y'all, that is it. I just really wanted to share my story because I don't know if I even heard of anybody. Like my husband always tell me, like, you're blessed, you're favored. And I always say, favor of God. My mom have always told me that. Favor of God over your life. But that is it. That is all. Breathe the Diva is signing out. Bye.